Hello and welcome back. So tonight is the night. We've waited all summer, some longer than others, but hockey is officially back tonight, and we can finally start getting underway, not only with the NHL season, but with Fantasy Week 1 as well. So tonight is especially exciting for a Rangers fan like me to be featured on the ESPN game at 7:30, likely getting underway around 7:45 with all the introductions and festivities and whatnot. And then the doubleheader continues with LA and Vegas at 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN as well. Today I'll be giving you some prop bets that I've had my eye on today, as well as some last-minute waiver pickups. Not a comprehensive list by any means, but just a few guys. And then we'll look at my lineup and thought process heading into Week 1. So without further ado, let's kick off Week 1 in fantasy. So this week I have Toe Dragons, pretty ironic name. I was going to show a video of him. He basically toe dragged the same kid twice in this one video he sent me not that long ago, but it is extremely grainy and he couldn't get me a good quality one in time for this video. So also pretty ironic, he doesn't even have the best toe drag in our league. That would go to Lake Mohawk Moose. More on him when I face him in another week. So this week, playing against Toe Dragons, this is his team. Pretty decent job here. Some hits guys with a lot of shot production. Ovechkin. He has Kucherov playing tonight. I have Trocheck and Kessel. I also did pick up somebody that's not on this list, and we'll get to that in just a second. So just to take a look, it's a little bit different because we don't have games on Monday yesterday, and we don't have games on Sunday. So everything kind of falls between Tuesday and Saturday. And when you look at it, in terms of my team and what I'm looking to add here, I broke it down. This is the amount of games played for each of my wingers, and that's where I'm going to be spending the majority of my focus. I should be able to get some coverage with McDavid, Trocheck, and Larkin with my center group. If not, I still have one more waiver play to make. As you recall, I did make 2 waiver plays right after the draft, picking up Kessel and Larkin, and lucky for me, they cleared. But here's the light nights for my wingers. So Pastrnak is Wednesday and Saturday, Kessel Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Jeannot Thursday, Saturday, Laine Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. These are when they play. Caulfield Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So 1 game tonight for my wingers, and then 5 on Saturday. So I will have a decision to make on Saturday, who to start, who to sit. And that will likely depend on how well some of these guys are playing and line assignments for that Saturday night game. But I wanted somebody to target for Tuesday and Friday because, again, I only have 1 player in the lineup tonight. So the obvious thing to do would be to look at the schedule as we did in the Week 1 schedule video. And for my team personally, these were the 2 teams that I was targeting. Obviously, Tampa Bay plays tonight. They play the Rangers. They have Columbus on Friday. That's a pretty decent matchup for them as well. The Rangers have Tampa Bay tonight. They have Minnesota Thursday, and then they have Winnipeg on Friday. So 3 games. Now, with some of the guys that I have, I probably will not be able to play anybody Saturday, so I'm not picking somebody up for Saturday. So those Tuesday, Friday games are what I'm targeting. So for Tampa Bay, Tuesday's obviously the Rangers, Friday's Columbus. For the Rangers, it's Tampa Bay and then Winnipeg, so I don't really have to worry too much about this game, except for I do a little bit. We'll come back to that in a minute. But in terms of goaltending, I am hoping for 6 goalie starts. As you can see here, we each have a Devils goalie. So he's got Vanacek, I've got Blackwood. I'm hoping that they just go to Blackwood. They only have 2 games this week. And if Blackwood gets both of those starts, that will definitely help me take goaltending. I hope Grubauer sucks for him because he reached on him really early in the draft and I was targeting him much later. I mentioned that in the recap video from that draft. And he also has Alex Holtz, a little bit of an interesting wrinkle that we saw during that draft recap video. But nonetheless, this is the decision-making process as far as the wingers are concerned. So I was targeting somebody for this Tuesday and then the Friday. So these are the guys that I was looking at. Now, these 3 guys are picked for a specific reason. Kakko is getting first-line exposure. You saw the schedule. These are the matchups that he's got. He's playing with Kreider and Zibanejad. So that's the main reason to target him. Chinakhov, now this is an interesting file. He led the preseason in goals with 6. And if you just watch those goals, it's not like he's standing in front, chipping in a goal on a 4th-string goalie or something. He's sniping from all over the ice and basically picking corners wherever he wants. He looks a lot more lethal this season. So he's a guy I've been looking at in preseason. I believe Fantasy Puck was high on him as well. And that's a guy that I'm going to have my eye on. Arvidsson, he's another dual eligible winger. Kakko is just a right winger. Chinakhov and Arvidsson are both dual eligible, so that's what I was looking for in terms of positional flexibility, because I do have some log jams happening a little bit later in the week. And Arvidsson gets you that shot volume, that 3.45 shots per game. That's going to give you a nice floor in terms of your production, because if he's not producing, at least he's going to get you some shots. Now, of the three, I'm basing the Chinakhov play on the eye test. He has a laser shot. I was watching some of the clips that were on Twitter and whatnot. It looks very good, seeing some of the game recaps as well. And he looks to be a lot more dangerous, but I'd only get to use him for Wednesday and Friday against those two very difficult defensive teams. That's not a matchup that I want in terms of a rookie, a young guy, not a rookie, a younger player coming in trying to play against the Carolina defense and the Tampa Bay defense. It just doesn't, and even St. Louis, he's not going to be in my lineup for any of those games. So I decided to pass on Chinakhov, but I'll keep an eye on him for future weeks. And as I mentioned before, Kakko getting the top right wing exposure with Zibanejad and Kreider, that is huge value in fantasy, and he has racked up the ads this week at 25.02 thus far. But he's only going to get PP2 time, and they don't see many minutes per night. As you probably know, that number one unit stays out there for about a minute and a half, a minute 45, and then they send the kids out for a couple, 20 seconds at the end of it or whatever. They don't get a lot of touches, and they don't get a lot of production. So it is a pretty difficult matchup Tuesday and Thursday, though I could likely use him for Tuesday and Friday. I'd have one too many right wingers on Thursday, and he'd be on my bench, or somebody else would be on my bench. So that did affect my decision, and that leaves Arvidsson. And the thing I like about him, as I mentioned before, is that shot volume. It's going to give you a nice floor, even if he's not productive. And as I mentioned when we highlighted him in the deep value plays video, he is on that line that was 10th in the league in scoring last year, with Trevor Moore and Philip Deneau. And then if you look at just, this is something that I've tried out. They've been trying to recommend Yahoo Plus to me for a long time, and I'm always that stingy guy that just doesn't want to pay the money or whatever. But seeing as how I'm technically running a fantasy YouTube channel now, I figured I might as well bite the bullet and just go for it. And they're recommending Arvidsson as well for this production. You see the goals, you see the assists. Power play production is a little bit higher as well. The shots is way higher. These are all projections. Obviously, the projections I recently found out are powered by Rotowire. And then the blocks as well, which is not necessarily a reason I'd target him. But hey, if he gets me some blocks, that'll help as well. So I already picked up Arvidsson after, in the midst of making this video, just in case Toe Dragons is watching this and he wanted to snipe him from me. Now, here are some opening night props that I'm looking at. I placed these now. These just seem like easy money to me. I usually I try to go for prop bets. These are player performance doubles on FanDuel, and I like these because you get pretty good odds. I don't like to place anything minus, just because there's just not a lot of value to be had there. And some of these, the lines are a little bit different. Sometimes they get lost in the weeds a little bit, and you can actually pick up some value here. So if you look at Fox and Hedman, they, for this particular bet, plus 285, they both have to just register one assist. And as you can see, Hedman has done that in every home opener over the last 3 seasons. So 1 assist, 2 assists, 1 assist. And some of these teams are better than others. Florida and Pittsburgh are pretty good. Chicago, not so much. So he put up some better production there. And then if you look at Fox, he had an assist last year against Washington in the home opener. Didn't have anything in 2021. And this 2019, that was his rookie season. He only got about 12 minutes of ice time. So I wouldn't read too much into the fact that there's a bunch of zeros here. The key factor here is that both of them are on PP1. If you recall, I had both of these defensemen in my elite defenseman video, and they were both in my top tier for my D targets video. They both quarterback the power plays on their respective teams, and I believe this first game is going to be a little bit sloppy, a little bit low scoring. Obviously, the 2 best goaltenders in the game are starting, Shesterkin and Vasilevsky, so it will be low scoring, and I think that power plays will have to do the bulk of the scoring. So this just feels like money in the bank if I can get access to these 2 guys, and all they have to do is get an assist. I mean, Adam Fox and Victor Hedman can pretty much get an assist with their eyes closed on the ice. So that seemed a little bit easy to me. So I'll throw $5-10 down on that. The second bet it piggybacks off the thought process of the first bet. So, about the power plays and how that will be the main driver of offense in this game. And both of these players are elite power play contributors. For Kucherov last year, 0.64 power play points per game. Panarin almost as good at 0.49 power play points per game. Obviously, Kucherov was first in the league. Panarin was top 10. So both are very prolific on the power play and very assist heavy as well. And this prop isn't specific to power play production. It just means that, that gives them a better shot of actually just recording an assist, which is all they have to do at plus 300. That seems like easy money to me. But the only thing is Panarin hasn't found chemistry with Trocheck and Kravtsov yet. So I'd imagine for this to hit, it will have to come on the power play. Now, the third bet that I placed was a shot prop for Adrian Kempe and Jack Eichel. Again, this one kind of feels like free money, but that's not how anything works in betting or in life. But if you look at Kempe last year, 3.16 shots per game, good for 38th in the league, and Eichel 3.91, good for 10th in the league. And Eichel routinely went over that mark last year, sometimes upwards of 8 to 10 shots per game. So the key here will be Kempe, and he's currently slotted on the first line with Fiala and Kopitar, which should help him reach that 4 shots that I need for the prop to hit. I want to kind of, make this point, keep your bets small and please do so responsibly. I don't need you guys taking out another mortgage on your home because you lost a bet because I said Kempe would get 4 shots and he didn't, and now you're coming for my head. It's just a little bit of fun we're having here. And this is basically the same data and information that I've been providing you for fantasy purposes in terms of shots and shot coverage. And we mentioned Kempe as a deep play. I've mentioned Jack Eichel a number of times. So this is just sort of turning that information that I've been trying to highlight over the offseason and try to make some prop bets on that just for a little bit of fun. Don't go crazy with it. I like to keep my bets small, and that's why I get these plus 360, plus 300, plus 285. I like the odds in this range and just a small bet just in case I can basically hit on one and cover the other two if the other two don't hit. So that's my strategy going into opening night. Now, for the late game, the Kings Golden Knights game, according to LAKingsInsider.com, Jonathan Quick was the first goaltender off this morning, indicating that he will be between the pipes for the first start of the season. And throughout his career, Quick has posted a 5-8-1 record against the Golden Knights with an .875 save percentage and a .399 goals against. So not good at all there. And just another thing to quickly note, if you're on Kessel watch or if you've picked up Riley Smith, the line combos for tonight, according to Ben Goetz, covering the Knights for ReviewJournal.com, it has both of them on the top line. So they're putting Smith on the left side. And then it's interesting to see Marchessault down here on the third line as well. And this second line looks a little bit weird too. Howden is not a second line player. Stevenson is definitely a second line center, but you would think that they would have gone, Smith, Carlson, Marchessault, but maybe they're just trying some new things. New coach and Bruce Cassidy, maybe trying to find some chemistry. He didn't like his fourth line in the last preseason game, so he's hoping to get a little bit more out of them. And maybe shuffling the top lines will help him do that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But regardless, that is good news if you picked up Kessel or Smith. But of the two of them, Smith is still getting the PP1 time, so that may factor in if you're targeting him last minute before the games start at 10. And according to this same guy, Ben Goetz, Thompson will get the start tonight for Vegas. He's 81% rostered, so probably not available in your league. But if he's there and you want to stream him tonight, you saw the numbers for Jonathan Quick, so there is a potential possibility for a win there. But take that with a grain of salt because right now the over for this game is 6.5. So they're definitely expecting more goal scoring with the Quick Thompson matchup than the Shesterkin-Vasilevsky matchup, which is currently a 5.5 over-under. So right now, if you look at the lines, LA is minus 115, Vegas minus 104, so very close line there. The Rangers are currently minus 125 favorites at home, and the Lightning are at plus 104, so it's looking very tight. They are favoring the Rangers to win at home. I don't know what to make of that. I don't like to bet on my own team because it just seems like bad karma, so I won't be placing any sort of bet on the Rangers tonight. As you saw those prop bets, that's all I'm placing tonight. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. If you liked or hated this content, let me know in the comments below. I may or may not do a nightly betting feature. If that's what you're interested in, maybe we'll try it out. If not, we'll keep it fantasy oriented. And I will be doing DFS plays later on, but I'd like to get some games in there before I start throwing out any plays and trying to strategize that way. But if you stuck around to the end, I want to thank you very much for as always, and I will see you in the next one.